Are there any new people here tonight, please? Do you mind putting up your hands? Quite a number of us. Thank you. Thank you. So, new. Of course, new people, I trust we're all new. So let's talk about new. Let's all be new tonight, and let's understand what it is to be new. First of all, to be new anywhere is to be able to listen. Not to listen to what you've heard before. Because if you listen to your partner tomorrow morning at breakfast, to how you heard him or her last night, there won't be anything new in your interaction. And isn't that what ruins our relationships? That we can't listen new to each other. And also, isn't it that we can't listen new to each other because we're not saying anything new? So when your lover or partner or friend or mother stops saying anything new, you stop listening. You've heard it all before. And that's what happens. That's called familiarity. And that's what ruins love. Notice the word familiarity comes from the word family, or vice versa. Every family exists in the past. They're always saying the same old things to each other, so therefore they are familiar. As soon as you get familiar with each other, love goes out the window and sentiment comes in with emotion. You know what Christmas dinner's usually like? A good family gathering where we all have a good argument at the end of the day, or we all talk about people. We never say anything new at Christmas dinner. Nothing ever is said new at Christmas dinner. Even if we talk about Jesus, there's nothing new in Jesus. There is something new if you don't talk about anybody and talk about something that has no personality. If you talk about love or truth, which I trust I'm talking now, not talking about the past, nothing familiar here, I trust. Because we are not familiar, you and I. I'm not familiar with anyone. Therefore, I don't have any problems with anyone. As soon as I get familiar with anyone, I will get problems with them. They will start to relate to me like something out of their past. They'll call me, for instance, a friend. I'm nobody's friend. Or I'm everybody's friend, whichever way you like. I don't have any friends. Or everybody's my friend. You've got to be very careful of having friends, because then you don't see the world new. You're looking for your friend and missing all the people. You see, to be new is to be able to be here now. Because no one can show me anything in the past. Because everything is here now. Now, would anyone like to have a try at showing me something in the past? Anyone like to have a try? It's amazing, isn't it? That all we talk about is the past, and yet no one can ever show me anything in the past. And yet that's all we talk about. Isn't that extraordinary? Well, that's what being familiar is. And as soon as you're familiar, you start to say, you get bored. You start to say, well, you've got to be familiar with the other people, haven't you? You talk about familiarity or the past. And then when they've all gone, you say, well, I don't know why the life's gone out of me, why I'm not like I used to be, vital, alive. When I was a child, remember? Well, children are not familiar, you know. They're spontaneous. They're new. Every moment until you and I teach them, right, how to hang on to the past. So when they come in, necessarily, because we all live in the past, we have to teach them to talk about the past. So we say, what did you do at school today? That's preparing them for a dinner party in 15 years' time. You see, that's our way of life. Well, that's all right. You can't change the way of life. You can't change the way of society, but you have to understand society and what you're up against. That every time you talk about the past to someone, you're making them familiar. You're putting familiarity on yourself, and you're making yourself discontented. So what's the cure as far as your life's concerned? You can't change society, because wherever you go, every phone call you're going to make tomorrow, I'll tell you, they'll talk about the past. What can you do to be new? We are talking about being new, aren't we? You know, that thing that we're all really longing to be is to throw off all the shackles, right? To be new, to be myself, it's called, isn't it? People say, if only I could be myself. To be new every moment. So what's the first cure for that? Well, the first one is, every time you catch yourself talking about the past, don't. It's not going to be so good for your relationships, but at least you'll start to be true to yourself. For a while, of course, the brain will get very disturbed, because the brain is not what you are. The brain is not your love. You know, that thing inside that you feel, how I long to express what I have. This beautiful love, this sweet tenderness that I have inside, which always comes out in words that people misunderstand, because you've got to use your brain to express your tenderness, you see. But if you're new, to be true to your new self, your new being, you've got to be able to break the brain of its old habits. And it says, well, I'm losing all my friends if I don't talk about the past. Now, do you want a friend that only talks about the past? Because if you do, then you want your life just as it is. And if you want your life just as it is, good, why not have it? But then you wouldn't be here, would you? You're here tonight because you don't want your life as it is. Oh, the brain does. Our brains love the habit, love the familiar. None of us likes moving house unless it's to an exciting new place. None of us likes losing our job. Right? We love the familiar. Well, we all live a brainy existence, don't we? But the brain is not the loveliness, the longing for life. That's a different part of us. Feel it inside of you. Deep inside your body. The simplicity of you. The thing that can sit here and checking all the time, is this the truth? Is this the truth? That's the brain listening, because the brain is a wonderful instrument that can listen to see if it's the truth. And that then, the truth then goes down through the brain once it's listening and reaches the consciousness, the truth that you are in there, the love that is in there. Now, I haven't talked about the past yet, have I? I'm still talking about the present. And what is the present? The present is the new. And what's the new? It is you. You're the new. You're the new. So it's a matter of standing, being the new. Now, don't take any thought. As soon as you think about anything that I'm saying, you will think about the past. Because all thought is about the past. So that's the next thing you've got to endeavour to do. Not only not talk about the past, but not think about the past. Give you an example, right? Because we must always be practical. We must apply this. How am I going to do it? Well, I'm here to tell you how to do it and help you. And that's why I'll be inviting you to ask questions after. To help you in any way I can to be new. Say you go to a movie. It is quite common to lie in bed at night and think over the movie. To go over it or a play. Can't do that and be new. Because that's exercising the brain and making the movie familiar. Go and see the movie again. See, that's new. Don't think about it, though. That makes it old. It's because we live in the past that we do this and we say, well, I saw a lot more in that movie the second time. That is true. You're likely, when you go to the movie the second time, to see a lot more in it, but that's in the present, isn't it? So it's fine to go to a movie in the present. But as soon as you think about the movie, you absented yourself from the present, and you're missing what's going on now. And you never know. God might appear in front of you, and you'll miss it. Because you know how often when we're thinking, someone speaks to us and we don't hear them. Or we cross the road and the car nearly knocks us down because we were thinking. We miss what's going on. But for people who live in the past, that's the fondest and most beautiful entertainment, is thinking about the past, because that's all you can think about anyway. And that pretty well names everybody, doesn't it? And people say to me, I love thinking about the past. And I say, yes, I know you love thinking about the past. Everybody loves thinking about the past, but would you tell me something new? See, that's not you to tell me that everybody loves thinking about the past or you love thinking about the past. That's not new, is it? If you said to me, I do not think about the past, I'd say, well, that's interesting. And how does that feel? And you'd have to say, well, it feels great because I can feel it now because I'm new. And I say, yes, that's wonderful. We can have an intelligent conversation, can't we? Not a word about the past. What's it like to be in the present? And you'd be able to tell me, this lady here in the blue with the glasses, what's it like to be in the present, here now? Pardon? Fine? Yeah, you know, that's the beginning of an intelligent conversation. But usually if you speak to people, you say, how are you? Or they say, good day. And if you ask them a question, they'll tell you about what happened, how sick they feel, or how tough things are, or the big decisions they've got to make, all in the past. You don't have to make a decision now, do you? Anybody here got to make a decision now? So the only decision you're likely to have to make would be whether you're going to get up and walk out. But really, it'd be best not to make a decision, because any decision you make will be on the past. The best thing to do to be new is to just sit there and see if your body gets up and moves. Because that's new. Now, to make love, if you've been watching Richard Gere making love in Pretty Woman, and how many of our young people learn from the magazines, which all write about the past, of movies and everything, how to make love. Because nobody teaches our young people how to make love, do they? Not much has been made for years. But at any rate, they all learn from Richard Gere in this life. And what they can pick up here and there. Now that's all the past. So the poor children are being taught how to make love in the past. Now, I don't have to tell you that you can't make love in the past, because you always make love in the present, don't you? And if your lover is not present when he makes love to you or she makes love with you, it's not going to work. You're going to be unhappy within 24 hours or 36 hours and wonder what's wrong with you. Because when you make love, when you are together as two people, whether you're making love or not making love, you are making consciousness, like we are now. And because if there is past in what you are addressing to each other, you are failing the human race. You've gone and slipped into past. And so the consciousness that has developed between the two people is past consciousness, old, familiar stuff. And that makes people discontented and unhappy. If you make love with your body, and you absent the past out of it. You don't try to make love as someone told you, as you knew used to work, as you've known worked before last time you made love. That's making love in the past. You make love fresh and new because you love it. Now, what does the word love mean? All this is in your experience. You're checking it, aren't you, to see that I don't say some rubbish. You've got to keep checking it to see if it's the truth. Well, that keeps you present now, doesn't it? Because you're not just a listener. Listening means to check it now with the present of your own experience now. So if you make love, when you're making love, you make love with your body in the present, because the body is the present. Look at my hands moving. Are they moving in the past? They're moving spontaneous. I'm not endeavouring to move them. Am I endeavouring to move my lips? No. I am speaking in the present. Am I thinking about what I'm going to say? No. I am saying what I am saying. I am new. You and I don't know what's going to come out of this mouth because I'm speaking in the present. But if I have rehearsed anything, if I know what I'm going to say, to already know something is to speak from the past. And then the people around me will be listening in the past. You know the hardest thing for me to do, to talk to a scientific gathering, for instance, a gathering of medical doctors. The hardest thing for them to do would be to listen, because all medical doctors live in the past. All scientists live in the past. Would you believe that? You see, a scientist has to be a man or woman, like a medical doctor has to be a man or woman. But if they say they are a scientist first, all scientists are in the past. All men and women are in the present. So a scientist will listen to me through his great body of knowledge that he's inherited from the science. And any great body of knowledge is in the past. So he won't be able to hear what I'm saying, so he'll say, oh, that's a lot of old nonsense. You see, because I talk about love. What is the definition of love? Let's get it. Checking this one, aren't you? Now you see if my definition fits anywhere near what your definition of love would be. My definition of love which is the truth, but don't believe me, check it. Love is now. I am now. My body is now. My body is emptied of past, inasmuch as it is spontaneous now, and therefore my body is love now. My body is not talking about the past now. For if I were talking about the past, I would not be love. I would have past or familiarity in me, and the scientist or the professor or someone else would be able to understand me. But when I talk about love, only people who are new can hear me. Every other subject is in the past. So you can see how much the newspapers, magazines and movies have to do with love. Nothing. You cannot make a movie about love. Because love is made now. Who by? Me. Now don't put your me out here. This is you, isn't it? We get that all right? This is you out here. Me is in that body on that chair that you can feel intimately. Love is made now by me, or love is realized or known now as me. I can feel love in me. Don't put your me out here. What are you feeling in me? Could I ask you? Just check me. Me is now, you know. There's no greater substance of now. No more real substance of now than me. Feel it? You can touch the table if you like. You can smell the flowers. But the flowers, the significance of the flower, the reality of the flower is known in me. If I smell it and say that's awful in me. Right, that's fair enough. Some things are awful to us. I smell it terribly. But it's in me. And it's true. Whatever happens now is true. But I'm asking you, when you're not smelling the flower like now, what's it like in me? Anyone wants to tell me what it's like in me? Yeah. Anyone want to speak up? What's it like in me? Yes, the man in the yellow. It's good in me, right? Okay. Now, how does he know it's good in me? Only if he's now. It can't be good in him yesterday. It can't be good in him tomorrow. To feel good in you now is love. Because you've got to be listening. You've got to be present. And there's no excitement, you know. No drinks, no music, no mantras, no little dances. Yeah. All you got is me. And me is my reality, isn't it? Do you know that very few people can stand me? You can put that both ways if you like. Because I'm always talking about me. And that's pretty selfish and arrogant, isn't it? Well, that's if you don't listen. But if you listen, this is a you. I'm talking about me. And when I talk like this about me, a strange thing happens inside of me. I start to feel easy and light. Because, you know, me, don't put your me out here, this is you, me is isolated most of the day. Me is not felt, not listened to. Except if me feels angry, me feels a problem, ring up someone, oh, I've got a terrible day today, really got it bad today, I've got a big decision to make. But this is all I talking. About me. Well, that's strange, isn't it? I talking about me. Because me doesn't have a voice. Me is a simple, silent, beautiful thing inside this body, isn't it? It's the love that feels, just want to be recognized, be acknowledged. I just want to come out and just stand naked. But can I? And I say, no, I am afraid. So I stop me from receiving the beauty of life, because I am the monitor. I've got something important to do. I've got to get to the office and I've got to make some big decisions. What about me? The me doesn't get a word in, doesn't get heard. Because me is the tenderness of the love in me, isn't it? In this body. And I always know what I'm doing. I'm the big noise around here. I know all about love. But love is made in me. I don't make any love. Where is this I? There is a body, and there is me inside the body. That's how love is made. You have to get rid of I to make love. I being any monitor, any thought. This is good. That would be I. This is good. When you're making love. You know it's good. You don't have to say it's good. Unless you were to speak to your companion, your partner making love. Then you can say, this is good, this is beautiful. Because you are addressing the person who is helping me to feel the pleasure. But to say it to yourself, this is good, is quite unnecessary. Because that's the talker. That's I talking. To think this is good, that's the monitor. When you have a glass of water, do you have to say that is good, or do you just drink it down and know this is beautiful? Every time you use the talker, that's the past. Because it's already been known that it's good, isn't it? Through the mere action of it. And then the old talker comes in after and says the obvious. That's good. And what's the advertisement for Powell's Bitter? Ah, that's good. The old talker. It's in all of us, but we have to know what you're dealing with. The talker is the monitor. The talker knows what it's doing. You'll see it on television. We've all got it, right? But we just got to understand ourselves. You see it on television. Gives an interview. Says what it thinks about anything, about anything. It'll talk about anything in the past. And then, having known so much and being so sure of what it's doing, lose one thing. Lose a mother or a child or even a motor car. And my God, it cries on the floor and says, oh, God, help me. But you were so sure of yourself yesterday. Oh, I'm not now. No, I just lost everything. And I said, well, you haven't lost everything. You only lost your child. You haven't lost your life. Oh, it's just my life is gone, finished. That is a lie. It is indeed sad that you've lost your child or your mother. But everybody's been losing children and mothers since time began. What's special about you? Haven't you learnt anything from all the children and mothers that have died? Well, have you? Are you going to be on the floor too when mum or the child dies? I'm asking you that leading question. You can't answer, but you can look at it, can't you? Because if you go on the floor and say, my life is finished, then you are not new. You are old, and the old always suffers. Only the new that can let go, that can face life as it is, does not suffer. Sure, a sadness occurs in me. A sorrow occurs in me. For a time. A shock occurs in me. It can't be avoided. Nothing wrong with that. But it's the holding on to the shock. It's holding on to the sorrow, isn't it? It's attachment to it. It's not letting go of it. It's thinking about it at night. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Who's thinking what am I going to do? I am. And what does I know? Nothing. Because you don't even know whether you're going to survive yourself tomorrow. So stop thinking about tomorrow and let's get on with it. Let's get on with tonight. And give the body good rest. Let it recover from its shock. Let's stop thinking. Let's be new. Let's absorb the dark if necessary. For the dark is a healing thing. Would you like to have a look at me inside your body now? Yes, I'm saying have a look. The extraordinary thing. Because if you're new, you'll hear me. Perceive me inside you now. It is dark. Very dark in there. And so it should be. The only light is sunlight and starlight. There's no light in me to speak of. It's dark in me. And if you can stay with the dark in me, you'll be healing yourself every second. Because you can only stay with the dark in me, you'll notice. You're seeing me, perceiving me, feeling me, is perceiving me. The dark starts to heal me, who's been bothered by all these worrying, active thoughts and upset. And you start to heal me with the dark. So it is at night. The dark is for making contact with the dark, the healing dark, the restful dark. If you wake up in the night, don't think it'll only be the old woman or the old man thinking. Look at the dark. Be still. Feel the dark in me. See the dark outside, without and within. Do not worry about, I'll be too tired to get up in the morning. That would be the old man or the old woman thinking about the past as the future. Because you wouldn't even know there was a morning unless you'd had this morning, which is in the past, or yesterday's morning. There's no morning in the future. Start to live with the dark, with the new, right? And heal yourself. Like now. In the stillness or silence of now. Be with the dark of me. Be in the dark with me. And yet, then you can be in the light outside, and you're all still healing yourself.